And you say greater equality. Try telling that to the Catholic adoption agencies who were refused the right to children who desperately need adoption just because they don't accept the whole idea of same-sex marriage, or they wouldn't go for gay adoption. Now, there was no liberty there, and I don't believe there'll be any liberty in the future. I would want. Well, I'll leave this last point to the. I'll leave my last point to the last, which is kind of logical. Consulting. Isn't it extraordinary that we are expected to believe that the government is consulting us as to how they are to implement something? You're the government. You're supposed to know how to do it. What are you consulting us for? You should be consulting us as to whether we want it or not. But of course, they're not going to do that because they are the elite. They are the Etonians who know exactly what we should want if we're going to progress. Well, no, consult us about what we want. Don't consult us about how to do it. Or we could start consulting about how we should pay politicians and so on. I had one politician say this to me, and this is the unequalness of society. He said, David, this is my view, and he told me, he said, I basically agree with you, but you can never quote me or use my name because it's more than my career is worth. I'm afraid that's where we're at. Most of our politicians are spineless. I don't know what they really think. Some are not. Some are very actively pro-gay marriage. They really believe it. I don't call them spineless, and some are against. I don't call them spineless. But the vast majority, to me, are spineless, and they say, well, if we're going to have any kind of trouble, we're just backing out of this, because it's not that important to them, at least not as important as their career. Adrian says, I have no problem. I don't think this is going to happen, etc., etc. I'm sorry, you cannot ask us to believe in wishful thinking that, yes, you have no problem now, but in 5 years' time or in 10 years' time, when the police come knocking at my door saying, excuse me, but did you refuse this couple because they're same-sex? You realize that's homophobic. I actually think there's a logic in that, by the way, because in our culture, do we say, well, we allow marriage interracially, but if someone wishes to refuse that on religious grounds, that's fine? No, it's not fine. It's not fine. Religion doesn't trump everything. So to me, that whole argument is just saying, trust us, we don't want it just now, everyone's going to be nice. But no, 5 years down the road, that is not going to be the case.